So in the last video, you were able to come up with some sort of truss arrangement like this. Now, what we want to be able to do is go from this to a file that we can export to the laser cutter, which will very quickly cut out all of the pieces that you can use to build your truss. But there is a little problem. Let's change our viewpoint. You can actually see that all of these, while they're aligned in this view, are not actually aligned in this view. So I'm going to click on the top, and I'm going to move all of these so that we can start thinking about what this is going to look like in 3D. So let's put those together in the right way. Okay, now let's look and see what this looks like back in the original view. So you can start to see how these are actually going together, and you might notice that there could be some places where symmetry might be important. So while in this view we have one piece on this side of the element in the center, we can put this element on the opposite side and kind of make everything symmetric. So the way I've arranged this now is looking pretty good. And you can imagine that for the purpose of this project, I could take a 5mm pin, put one here, 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 and here, and actually build this truss. So we want to go from this assembly to a drawing. And you can see the way I've arranged this right now is that I have 1, 2, 3 short elements and 1, 2 long elements. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to create a drawing. Now we're going to go to a custom template because we're not going to include a border. We're not going to include a title block either. We're going to make this millimeters for now. Let's go over to ISO. So you want it to look like this, hit OK. And what we now want to do is we want to take each of those elements that we actually want to cut out and we want to place them on this piece of paper. Again, this piece of paper later on is going to be the cardboard that you use to cut out your shapes. So I had 3 short elements. So I'm going to click on short element. I'm going to change the view scale to 1 to 1 because I want this to be the correct size of what I want to cut out. So there's a short element, and I want to insert 2 other short elements onto my cut sheet here. Okay, now let's do the long elements. So I'm going to go back into here, insert, long element. Now there's one more thing I'm going to have you do. We'll go over to the wrench, the drawing properties. We're going to go and we're going to turn off extended lines. That should be good enough for us. Click out of that. And now that we have this, this is the file that we're going to send to the laser cutter. So we're going to go to our drawing. We're going to do export. And we can call this truss elements, and I'll put my initials in there, SVG, so it's hit export. And then that's going to download to our computer. And so this is the file that I now want you to take and submit as your cut sheet for actually making something on the laser cutter. What you'll probably find as you experiment is you may need to change the number of elements. You might need to change the size. As you experiment and build your truss, it's going to take some trial and error, take some experimentation. That's part of this task. But you know what? You're going to be able to do it. So get right to work.